Why many people feel that they are not enough? Basically, the contentment and the dangers of greed. So basically, the deepest misfortune and disaster in human life come from never-ending desire for gain and an ability to be satisfied. So when is enough enough, right? So most of the people say, how much money do I need to earn? How much friends do I need to have? And so many things in our life we want more and more and more and more. So this chapter of the Tao Te Ching, chapter 46, explains that, let's use an analogy. When the world is in harmony with the Tao, that means that horses are being used peacefully for farming or maybe daily tasks. But when the world loses the way, basically the people, right? They are out of harmony, then horses are forced into the chaos and violence, as well as strategy and especially war. So you can see that many people, when they are out of balance, they become like unsatisfied with their life. They always want more and more and more and more. People always say it's greed, but I will say it's more envy. Because people look at other people that have maybe more money, better houses, better cars. There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes enough is enough, meaning that instead of chasing after what your neighbors are having, because it always looks like the grass in your, at your neighbor is always greener than yours. So that's the reason why this amazing reminder of the Tao Te Ching, the book that I highly recommend you to read, chapter 46, is also that there is a root cause, right? So basically, Lao Tzu concludes that there is no greater disaster than discontentment, and no greater fault than the greedy desire for gain, for more and more and more, right? So the only lasting satisfaction comes from mastering contentment. So if you have, like, in your life, let's say you avoid comparison, right? If you avoid comparison, then your life will never be the same again. You don't need to compare with anyone, but you can always be better of the version from yesterday of yourself instead of other people. So envy is the so-called a war horse, what they used a long time ago, of the mind. And in the recent example, it's about envious of other people's possession, of other people's, whatever they have in a career life or their businesses. So breeding conflict within your own emotional state. If you stop comparing your achievement with others, your wealth will grow immensely and your lifestyle will never be the same again. You don't need to compare with other people because everyone is different, right? Another thing you can do in your personal life is practice micro-contentment. So before you reach out for the next big milestone to achieve or purchase, like a new bag or a new car, right? Pause to acknowledge the richness of your current moment. Especially guys, right? When you see that you're driving, for example, a Toyota, and then you look at your neighbor that is driving a Tesla or anything, then you become envious. It's not needed. Because your neighbor might maybe be still single and he has to show off. And you basically maybe have family. It just brings you from point A to point B. That's enough. Don't need to compare. So when it comes to daily practice, how to do that, you can do it like having a gratitude journaling. I know guys doesn't like to do this kind of stuff, but I will highly recommend you to secretly do it. Because when you journal, then you can anchor yourself in the present moment. That you don't need to compare with other people, especially guys. So embrace the simplicity of life, okay? So it doesn't mean that you don't want to have a better car. Of course, everyone wants to have that. but you just keep improving and just measure yourself with yourself, not with other people. So embrace simplicity, okay? So evaluate your commitments and your possessions. Let's say, for example, most of us think we don't have enough. We do have a lot. Sometimes there's too much things at home that cluster the energy, the chi, is what I always say. Maybe you have to reduce some of those things in your house first, in your closet. Maybe the clothes or anything that you never really wear, only maybe once a year. Give it away, okay? Don't sell it. Because once you give it away, then you free up the energy that is holding you back. Alright? So, in a business context, especially in corporation, sustainable growth over vicious competition. What is that? So, aggressive so-called winner takes all, right? Or win at all costs. Try, for example, to do constantly focus your energy on creating your core value. What is it that your client wants? What are the pain points? Your better customer service, or maybe even the better product that you want to develop. And it will speaks for itself. And you don't need any marketing budget, by the way. Okay? It's like Tesla, right? So you make the product better, or your service better than your competitor, then all the customer will come to you. You don't need to even, market your product, because you will have ambassadors, the clients that will do that for you automatically, even for free nowadays, with your reviews, with all those kind of feedbacks. Alright? Another thing is setting sufficient goals. What it means is that avoid a disaster of the never enough mindset. Okay? It's like the wonderful music from The Greatest Showman, Never Enough. Although I sing very badly, don't listen to my song, but listen to her song, the real one, by the way, not the one in the movie. You will find it in the British Got Talent. There's an amazing woman that sings that song, Never Enough. Highly recommend you to take a look. So basically, that set a clear metrics for success. Okay. So when a project meets its goals, recognize it as a success rather than immediately moving the goalposts and causing employee burnout. Alright? Last but not least is the empowering of your team naturally. How to do that? So in Chinese we say that practicing the Wu Wei, or effortless action. So don't waste your energy on something that is not going to produce any results. Okay? Be strategic. So by giving your team, for example, enough autonomy, instead of the micromanaging, right? Forcing outcomes, what you want from your team, micromanager, the helicopter employer, which is ridiculous, of course, some of them. Try to become a person who provides the right resources to your team. Allow your team or your team members then to do their job more effectively. So all in all, this chapter 46 of the Tao Te Ching will help you then try to be content, but still produce quality instead of competing with your competitors on other stuff. Alright? Know your core value, your moat, your competitive advantage. Okay, thank you so much, and let's go to the next chapter. Bye.